Hi. I I'm coming to you today in my feels. It's actually been a really cool morning, but it's been a very emotional morning. And you know what? Sometimes this is the best way to film because you know what? This is where people feel you the most. And I'll tell you kind of how it all got started. I came to a hotel last night. It's a Hilton. And it's the first time I've been to a Hilton since I was there with a very, very special person. And it was back last year. Well, no, that's not true. What I'm going to tell you about happened last year, but the last time I was in a Hilton was at the beginning of this year. And so you'd probably like to know why I am in a hotel, but that's a story for another day. We're not talking about that right now. But you know, I was reminded because I'm sitting in a room that is exactly like a room that I shared a really special moment with somebody. And you know, I can choose to sit here and be, upset about the fact that this person is no longer in my life. But rather, I'm going to choose to be thankful for the imprint that they put on my life and on my heart and the lessons that I learned from this person. And you know what? If you watched my video yesterday, I mentioned intimacy and about what I really want. And you know what? I elaborated on it a little bit, but I'm going to go full on into it today. You want to know some deep shit? We're going to go there today. You ready? And I'll tell you, really funny. So I couldn't find anything to write on. And I had just blown my nose in this. I mean, there wasn't very many boogers, don't worry. Even still, who fucking cares? I raised toddlers. I mean, come on. But I couldn't find anything to write on, not even a freaking receipt in my purse. And so I took down and I wrote down the intimacy because when I packed up to leave yesterday, I put my computer and I was like, oh, I'm not going to need my computer. And so of course, I'm on my phone right now. So I just want to make sure that I'm covering all bases. So let me go and revisit what I shared with you guys yesterday about intimacy. And it says that intimacy is more about safety than anything else. Do you feel safe revealing your vulnerabilities? Do you feel safe being your full, authentic self with people or a person? Do you trust that they will be able to accept your pain and your past, sharing those deep things in your life? Do you feel peace in their presence? And I know maybe you guys are sitting here thinking about those and you have all these different people in your minds and you're going, yeah. I remember this piece of hair right here. I'm sorry guys, I gotta fix that. Okay, I got it going. There's this person in my life that I felt really safe with, or I feel safe with, my current spouse, I have a best friend, I have a sibling, a parent. But then you also have those people in your mind, you're going, I don't feel safe with them. I wouldn't tell them anything, So let me explain to you. I was raised in a very dysfunctional home. I think that all families have dysfunctional to a certain degree. And, but in my home, there was a lot of mental, emotional, verbal, and even physical abuse. And, my kind of like down spiral started to happen after my dad left when I was 10 years old. Now, he didn't like walk out of my life. He was still a part of my life. And I might explain that later on in another video, but he was still a part of my life. But even still, like my whole world was kind of shattered. And I started becoming a very, very rebellious teenager. And so when you are raised in those situations, you have a very difficult time trusting people. The people in our lives that first start setting the example of where we are truly supposed to be safe, accepted, and nurtured, that little boy inside of you or that little girl, is our parents or the people that are closest around us when we're younger. And I didn't have the best example of that. I never felt safe. And so as I've grown older, that has trickled over into my relationships. And I've had a really hard time trusting people. I always have struggled with not wanting to be a burden on people, And so what I would do, which a lot of us do, is before somebody else hurt us, we pull ourselves back. in a self-preservation, and we pull ourselves away before somebody else can hurt us, because we've been hurt by so many. But let me tell you a story about how part of my redemption, a story about my redemption, and part of my story, because it's still ongoing. I'm gonna continue healing until the day I hit the grave. But I'm sitting in a room right now that I shared with a very special man, a man that made a huge impact in my life. And this room looks just like the one we were in. And so that's why I'm in my feels this morning. And I'm gonna make another video after this, because I'm on a roll today, and I'm gonna take all this. Every morning he had to get up and get ready. You know, we were traveling at this particular moment, and I would always watch him. And he was military, and so he had to get up and put his uniform on. And if you know anything about their daily uniforms, you know, it's all the camouflage and the pants, and you had your green t-shirt tucked in, your boots. And so I would watch him do all of that. And he had his jacket sitting here on this couch, actually, and he went to go put it on before he left that morning. And now we had a sexual relationship, and it was awesome. We had a lot of great chemistry, and he was a beautiful, beautiful soul. And so, but that morning there was something that really impacted me. So as he was getting ready to leave, he had a couple minutes before he had to go. So he's putting on his jacket that goes over his t-shirt, and he went to zip it up, and then all of a sudden he stopped and he takes it off without saying anything. And I'm like watching him, because I always watched him. He fascinated me. So he took his jacket off and he laid it on the couch, and he looked at me, and he sat down, and he put his legs down, and he goes, "Come here." And I looked at him, and I was like, he goes, "Come here, come sit on my lap." I was like, okay, I trust this guy, but okay. And I went and I sat on his lap. And he took me and he cradled me like a little girl. And I laid my head on his shoulder. And he just held me. And I fucking lost it. I started crying. I don't think people understand how impactful knowing that you are loved and accepted is. The relationship with that man after that point took a turn. I felt completely safe with him. I could tell him anything, even some of the worst things that I've done, and he still loved me regardless. I could be my full authentic self. Hey, we got kicked out of a club in downtown Orlando because we were having so much fun. I could be myself with him. I trusted him with every bit of myself. And I always felt safe with him. And now you look and you're like, Tara, what happened? Story for another video. Stay tuned. But you know what? Because he did that, and because of the relationship I shared with him, I started to learn what it meant to take care of that little girl inside of me, and learned what it meant to feel safe in somebody's presence. And I'm going to tell you, when I tell you there was a shift in that relationship after that point, you want to talk, you think sex is good? Woo-hoo-hoo! I'm going to tell you, there were times where you'd be laying there just talking and caressing one another, and he would orgasm without even fucking penetrating me. Intimacy. You want to talk about real sex? You want to talk about real, deep, start that healing process if you haven't been there. If you haven't experienced that, you deserve to feel that love and that acceptance. And you know what? He may not be in my life now, but he made that standard for me that much higher. So For all those men out there, they're like, oh, I want you to be mine. I'm like, you have no fucking clue what it means to ask me to be yours. If you can't be that man that's gonna make me feel safe, bring that little girl out of me and make me feel like the beautiful queen and goddess that I am, you don't even stand a chance, baby boy. So with that being said, I'm actually gonna I'm gonna stop this video because that was what I wanted to communicate with that vulnerability. That's what I really want. That's what I need. That's what we all need. That's what we all want, even if you don't realize it yet. Trust me. I'm gonna go into another video because I really feel led to tell you guys why I'm doing this. And I'm on a roll today. Today is one of those days where I'm gonna record multiple videos. I don't know if I'm gonna stop at 2, I might go on to 3, but yeah. So I hope this blesses you guys as much as it does me. And please feel free to reach out. Please do. I want everybody to experience that. We all deserve it. We do. And we have somebody that is wanting to love us like that. But the problem is we don't even love ourselves like that. So it's hard to let somebody else do it. So